So, hello all. I hope everyone is well. So, let's try to solve the SQL question for the day. Uh, I have already solved this question before. So, those who haven't watched it, please go and watch the first case, the first version, what I have already solved. And I will give the link to the description box so you can watch and come back to the second part of the question. So, this is the second part of the question basically. Um, so most of you who have seen the video, who have watched the video, know this dataset very well. That what we have done in the first video is we have grouped it basically for each item. We have grouped this data in a way that whenever a non-null is being followed by the null, so till that point we have grouped it. So if you remember, these have been grouped because after that null value we have a non-null value. So this item has been grouped with the nulls, and again this will be grouped because there is a non-null value after the null value. So this will be grouped. Then again, after that non-null value, we have a null value. So this will be grouped, and after the null value, we have a non-null value. So this will be grouped. So in that way, we have grouped it. So we have already uh, watched it and solved the question. Now what we want to do this basically in this exercise is basically we will group the same way like last time we have done it. Now in that case, we will put some extra logic. What logic we are going to put? So the logic is basically whenever there is a non-null value. So if you see there is a non-null value of there are three records basically for this non-null value. So for that, you need to go reverse and need to check that. Okay, so for that non-null value, we have a null value before that, right? So here, if we have the count of three, then the null value will be also having a count of three for the discount column. Okay, I think I am telling you once again. So suppose for the non-null value, if we have three records for discount, and so the null value previous to that uh, non-null value will be having the same number of records. For example, so here we have three records for non-null value, and so this will be having exactly three records starting with 3rd of November to 5th of November. Let's say in another case. For here, we have two records for non-null value. So before that, okay, so the null value will be having, which is being followed, um, will be having exactly two records. So this will start from 10th of November to 11th of November in that way. So if we have 0.55, we have two records. So exactly it will be having two records because it only has two records. So it will take both the two records in the output. But here for the first case, it will start from 3rd of November to 5th of November. So how we are going to do that? So we will exactly, report all the columns the last time what we did. So we will be the output will be having all the columns basically. Now let's try and solve it. So I will give that data set to the description box for you to solve. First try that and post your solution in the comment section and then watch the video. So it will be for good for you to practice. So let's start that. Um, so this is our data basically. So what we are going to do is the similar logic, if you remember the last time what we did. So we will take the necessary columns and we will try to generate some row numbers to kind of group this. If you remember, this is exactly the same that I am going to. The approach is exactly the same. So we'll take all the necessary columns. The Let's try with item, date, discount, okay, and we have revenue. So revenue, and we need some row numbers, right? So what row numbers we need? So the row numbers is basically And before creating the row number, if you remember, we did what we did is basically we change the null value with 0 and the non-null value with 1. For that, we can use case when statement. Case when discount is null, then 0 else 1 as check. Okay, and so sorry for that. Yeah, so we have created the check column, which will be holding the 0 and 1 value. Whenever the discount is null, that will be 0 else 1. Then we can create the row number. Why we are creating the row number? Just because we are trying to generate a series or generate a sequence which can actually segregate this type of areas or this type of records, like though non-null records can be distinguished with the non-null records. Okay, so like that way. So we're creating row number. If you remember it correctly, row number over partition by item order by date, right? Okay, I'm giving a name as sequence one. I think this piece of code we have already done in the previous video. So exactly the similar thing that we are going to follow. So just it will be easier for you to grab it. Basically, this is the same code that I have written in the previous video. So now I will just create another row number over, okay, in that case partition by, now in this case partition by item. So if you remember it correctly, if you have watched the video, so now in this row number, so in the first case it will be starting from 1 to the number of records we have, and now in that case we are going to generate the row number based on this case item and this statement. Because so now if I put this, basically you will be able to understand. So this is the logic that we have followed last time. Okay, and order by date. So let me write that code and you will get what I am trying to achieve here. Okay, so now if I run this code, so you will see that, let's run this first so you'll be able to understand it, what I'm trying to say. So if I execute this, so if you see the sequence is being generated from 1 to 22 just because order by date and partition by item. Why I'm giving partition by item? Because in that case, in this case, basically I have taken only one item. But if you think it can be having more than one item, uh, like if you have some other records where you have more than one item, so that's why I'm just writing partition by item. So now how the row number is being generated is starting from 1 to 22, because we have 22 records for all, and we have only one item. Okay, now here if I put partition by item and case one statement, so what that means is, so it will be grouped based on this check. It's not grouped, sorry, it will be creating a sequence based on item and check column and order by date. So that means for for all the zeros we'll be getting 1 to the number of zeros we have. For one also we'll be getting, for check one also we'll be getting 1 to number of records we have. So that sequence will be created. So if I run this, basically we will be getting this two sequence. Now what I'm going to do here is, so we will subtract that row number with the next row number. So we are going to subtract it. Yeah, so here I'm subtracting the first row number. Sorry, we're going to subtract the row number, this, as I'm giving as a difference. Okay, so we are going to subtract the second row number from the first row number, and we are creating as a difference. Now if I run this, so we will be getting the column, or the difference column, or you can say sequence column, which can actually segregate this chair and the discount. So if I write order by date. So you might see that. Okay, so you might see that. um, so if you see, so this portion, if you remember, this portion is being segregated with this portion, because like if you if you group it by item and difference and the discount, so you will get each group. So this is one group, if you remember the last time what we did. So if you group it by item and discount and difference, so um, you will get the each group. You will get the group, like this group, this can be categorized in one group, and this can be categorized in another group. Sorry, this can be categorized in another group, and this can be categorized in another group, right? But this is not our intention, right? So our intention is to find like the, the number of rows what we have for non-null values for discount will be having the same number of records to the previous discount, whether discount is null, right? So this is our intention. If you remember in the starting of the video, I've explained it. So this is the intention that we are going to do that. This is the intention that we need to do. So how we are going to achieve? Now, what I am going to do here is basically we will create a sequence number again. That sequence number will hold the number of count, like this sequence. So we will create a sequence where the discount is null for this group. Let's say for this group, the sequence will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this can be categorized in another group. Then I'll give like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Then this is another group, so we will give 1, 2, 3. So if for each and every group, we will create the sequence. How we are going to do that is, let's solve this. Okay, to select, I'm going to select all the rows. Okay, I'll explain it. Let me write the code. Select star comma row number. Okay, row number over partition by, let's say I'm typing p dot item comma. Let me write that, then I can explain. Count comma p dot. Uh, let's take this as sequence underscore diff. So for simplicity, so we can understand it better. Let's say it is a sequence difference. Is a sequence difference. So sequence difference order by uh, p dot date descending as, let's say, sequence for sequence group. So I'm just putting a random name. I'm very bad at naming, so you can put your own name when you are going to do that. So I'm giving something like sequence for sequence group for now. So, and I'm giving a from statement, and this can be used as a subquery. Okay, so as b. Okay, now let's run this, so you'll get what I'm trying to achieve. So if I run this, right, so now look at the data right now. So for this group, let's make it an order by, okay, order by b dot date. Okay, okay, so if I run this, yes. So now what I'm going to do here is, or what I've done here is, basically we have created a sequence for each group. So if you see, for this group I have created a sequence, for this group also I have created a sequence, but this is I have put order by b dot date descending. So the date will be in descending order. So the sequence is basically will be like this. The first one will be having sequence number 5. Second one will be having the sequence number 4. But if we would have given like an ascending order, so if you remember, if we give ascending order, so it will be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, for the date column, for the item column. Now I have given order by b dot date descending, so that means it will start from 5 to 1. So highest one, at the highest date will be having a sequence as 1. So I hope everything is clear till now. We have to do a lot of things. So let's move ahead. So we have got this data right till now. Now, what we will be doing, right? So we now, if you think it carefully, basically, so we will have to join basically this three records, right? 3, 2, 1, and think about that this three. If we try to join anyhow this three with this three, right? So we'll be getting the data because 1, 2, 3 is three. I mean, it's 3, 2, 1. If I try to join with the previous set of nulls, so we'll be having the data, right? So we can discard these two records. So that's why we have created the sequence. And in that same way, if we join 2, 1 with the previous set of nulls, so we'll be having the data, correct? So now we will have to do that. How we're going to do that is, let's create um, data first for the discount where the discount is where for the items where the discount is non-null. So what I'm going to do is just see the code, then I can explain. Let's say select star from prepare data. What I have given for this. Okay, let's create a city first. Okay, so I have remembered the last time what I have done, so I forgot to create the city now. So let's put that into a city, and okay, so just a little bit of alignment, so just to understand it better. Okay, now select star from prepare data. Okay, where discount is not null. So if you think about, so if I do this, let's say if I run this, so we'll be having all the columns where the discount is not null, right? So this is one group, this is also one group, this is also one group, this is also one group. So we have only taken the data where the discount is not null. Now what I'm going to do is put that in a subquery. Put that in a subquery and give as a, okay, and we'll be writing a select clause here. So I'll be writing select clause later, but right now give something select from as a, and this will be joined with the city, right? Right. So I have joined with city, but on which column? So on a dot item equals to b dot item. Let me write the code. I can explain. And a dot sequence for sequence group, that what you have created. I told you, right? The 3, 2, 1. If you remember what I have spoken. So the three records will be joined with the three records. So that's why we have created the sequence for sequence group, right? So a dot sequence for sequence group must be equals to b dot sequence for sequence group, right? And now think about it. What I'm going to do is the date column is there, right? So let's say for this here, this 8, 7, and 6 we have, right? So what I'm saying is, let me write the code. A dot date must be greater than equals to b dot date. So let's see the data, then you can see what is the meaning of this. Okay, now I'm taking all the rows. Okay, so I'm taking all the columns. Sorry, so I'm taking all the columns from both the tables. So you will get that, right? And sort it based on, let me sort it based on a dot date, comma, b dot date. So you will be able to understand what I'm trying to say. So if I run this, what will happen? We have a lot of data, right? So I think this is very difficult also. So we can simplify it, right? Now see, so if you see for date, so we have for there are lots of dates. I mean, there are lots of dates for the from the B call A column. A means from this query, and from this query also we have the date. Now, how we can understand this? So think about that. For 06, let's say for 06, right? So if you remember the 06, if you saw the data basically, let's let me let me show you. Okay, then it would be easier. So let's open an Excel. So it will be easier for me to go through. So we have this data, right? Let's correct. Now I have pasted the data here. And sorry. So we have item date. So this is nothing but item. This is date. This is discount, and this is revenue. Now think. Now what I'm going to show you here is, let's run this code for once again. So we have this data. Now look at the data. Now see, for this area, this is one group, right? If you remember, this is one group. So this group, this 6, and for the previous group, we will have to take these 3 records, right? So this 6 and this 3 and this 7 and this 4 and this 8 and this 5. So this 3 and this 3. So this 3 will be in one group and this 3 will be one group, right? So how what is happening here is, for look at that a dot date, like this one, right? So this date has one from 2013 1103 and 2023 1106, correct? So these two we need, right? Basically, if you think, for 2006, sorry, for 6th of November, we need 03 and 06. So that's what we need, right? This two we need. Now, if I go to the 7th, we need 7th and 4th, right? We need 4th and 7th. Is it clear, or is becoming clear, right? So we need, for 7th, we need 7th and 4th. For 8th, we need 8th and 5, right? So if you see, for this group is done. So this actually, but this particular rows, this 6 rows, has Sunut 03, 04, and 05, and 06, 07, and 08, right? 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, right? These 6 records we need, but it will create two groups. So these 2 groups are there in this data, right? Now, this is an interesting fact. What about if you're seeing that 12, if you see for 12, we have 4 records, but we don't need 4 records, right? We need only 2 records, correct? For 12, if you look at the data, for 12, what we need? For 12, we need this record, and we need, what the records we need? So we need this one, and we need this one. For 13, we need this one, and we need this one. So these 2 we need, right? Not all of them, right? So for that, but we are getting, for 12, we are getting all the 4 records. These 2 we don't need. 4 and 7 we don't need. But similar way, for 13, if you see, for 13, if you see, we don't need 5 and 8. We need only 11 and 13, right? So if you go in that way, so all the time, you need the maximum and the second maximum for b dot date, right? For if you go for 16th, you actually need these 2. So you need the maximum value of b dot date and the second maximum value of b dot date, right? So this can be deleted. That's what I'm trying to achieve here. So this, we will delete those records. We don't need that, right? So what I'm going to do here is, now, instead of a dot star, what we need is just create a row number. That's the logic. So create a row number, and put something like over partition by, okay, uh, partition by um, item, okay, and give something like a dot date, right, and sorry, order by order by b dot date, sorry for that, b dot date, right, put it like sequence underscore 3, okay. So now what I'm getting here, sorry, something is wrong. Yeah, so give like a dot item, because, right, so we have got the data now, so sequence 3. So that's why, right, so and put uh, for okay, so sorry, for give descending order, so we need the maximum and the second maximum, so we need to give the descending. So keyword, so if I run this, you can see for this, for 6 3 we have 1 2, let's come to something like 12. So previously we saw that it was coming 12 10 4 7 or something, so now in that case we'll be having this 1 2. I have created the sequence 2 and 1, so these two we don't need this basically, right, 4 3 we don't need. For if you look at this one, so every time, so what I'm trying to achieve here is every time we need where the sequence underscore 3 is in 1 and 2, because those are the maximum ones, I mean maximum and the second maximum, okay. So now what we are going to do here is, so we can now take that, so put it in the uh, so now what I'm going to do is basically select, okay, select all the things we need. So let's say select star from, and put that into the CTE, or sorry, in the make this as a subquery, where, okay, sequence underscore 3 less than equals to 2, because these are the maximums for each and every group, right. So if I do this, so that will be having these two records only, for again for all 1 2 will be having the exact data that we are looking for, right, and put this. So now run this. So if I run this, basically you'll be getting the data, right, for all 1 2, right. Now how are you going to do this? Now in the next part we will have to, generate the minimum date and maximum date for each group, right. So how we can do that is, let's delete that for a moment. Okay, so now the last portion, which is nothing but the grouping. And let's say, so what we need is, um, so what we need is, so we need item, right, we need minimum of date as min date, and maximum of, so the date is nothing but a dot date, you can put maximum of a dot date as max date, and count of days in between. Same thing what we have done for the last time. Count of one as number of days, and we need discount, and we need sum of revenue as revenue, okay. From this, and we can put in the group by. Sorry. So this group by, what are the group by columns? A dot item. We need discount. This is the similar thing that we have done the last time, and we also need uh, a sequence diff, right? So we need a sequence diff. For the sequence diff only, we are going to you know, do the analysis, right? So now, so if we put sequence diff and item and discount, so that will be grouped together, right? So now if I run this, see, that's the exact data that we are looking for. For, if you see, let me do it, let me order it, so you will get what I'm trying to say. Let's say I'm going to do it by a dot date, right? So if I run this, see, for 6 to 8 we have 3 days, and the previous null also has 3 to 5, exactly 3 days, and 12 to 13 we have 2 days, so 10 to 11 the previous null will be having only 2 days. 14 to 15, sorry, 16 to 17 we have 2 days, so the previous null we have be having exactly 2 days. So 21 to 22 we have a non-null value, it has 2 days in between, and the previous nulls is starting from 19 to 20, it is exactly having 2 days in between. So this is the way to do that. This is the code. I know this is somewhat complex, so I have tried my best to explain, but it will be easier if you do it by your own. So that would be easier for you to understand, rather than me explaining. You try to do it, and try to break the data, try to join it, and try to do it by your own. So you will be getting it what I'm trying to say. So me explaining, or rather than me explaining to you, if you do it by your own, or if you just try to solve it um, by joining one and more tables and see that how the data is looking like and change something, try to understand the logic, so that would be easier for you to uh, explain it in the later time. Yeah. So I won't take I think I have solved this basically. So how the data will be looking like. So I'll put the script in the description box for you to solve. And if you like the video, please subscribe the channel. Share it with your friends, and let me know for any suggestions. Then we will again solve any other question in the later part. We can solve something else. So till then, thank you.